Welcome to the party. I'm Sam Ekstrom of Locked On Sports Minnesota. Why did the Vikings lose to the Rams in Week 8? How will they beat them in the wild card round?
Hey, this is Arif Hasan with the Wide Left Substack. Somber news out of LA. Luke Braun has survived.
Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. A new gambling segment starts today. This time we're using real money.
I'm Luke Braun of Locked On Vikings. Arif, you can't kill me.
Locked On Sports Minnesota podcasts. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. It's time for the Minnesota Football Party. It's your guys hanging out talking next level Vikings football. So join in with Arif Hasan, Locked On Vikings Luke Braun, Superior Sports Talks Luke Inman, and Vikings insider Sam Ekstrom, plus the biggest names in Minnesota football for the Minnesota Football Party. And it starts now.
What's up? Welcome in to the Minnesota Football Party on a Thursday, part of Locked On Sports Minnesota, and it's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making us your first watch or listen today. For your second one, check out Luke Braun on Locked On Vikings and find this show audio on the Locked On Vikings podcast feed, wherever you happen to get your podcasts. Big show today. Actually not our final show before the playoff game because we do have a Monday show, day of game, but heavy Rams preview today. We look back on Week 8. How can the Vikings rectify the 30-20 loss? And I love this segment every year. We reveal the winner of our preseason predictions.
Oh, gee. I forgot already that we were doing that.
Now, Inman wasn't actually a part of that show, which is unfortunate. He missed that day. So we're going to have to find a way to get Inman involved. Maybe I give him like the blind predictions and he guesses who got it right. I don't know.
Oh, yes.
Well,
Who is who?
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But that's all coming up on today's Minnesota Football Party. Today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. It's the best way to play daily fantasy sports. I swear, prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL. Use code all lowercase LockedOnNFL to win $50 instantly when you play $5. I want key matchups. I want the best matchups, whether they're good matchups, like great players against great players, or players the Vikings can exploit on the Rams. Give me something about this game on Monday, Vikings-Rams in the wild card on ESPN. Let's start with actually Luke Braun. Quick aside, give us a geography update on the fire situation, with regard to the stadium and what your read is.
Not you, but
on the
Inglewood.
situation. Not concerned about you.
Yeah, so various points in the city of LA are on fire. When I went to bed last night, there were 4 to 5 threatening fires. Waking up this morning, they had a good night, but the Palisades fire, which is the one that's in the news, that's the big one. The Pacific Palisades is just gone. It's horrible. It's tragic. That was a very cute town. A lot of people lived there. Basically, every structure there is gone. The wind is blowing all the smoke from that out over the ocean. That same wind is blowing a fire from Pasadena, which is the Eaton fire, blowing that smoke directly over Inglewood and SoFi Stadium. So if they had to play the game today, they probably wouldn't be able to because of air quality. What people need to know about LA is that LA is absolutely gigantic. It is huge. It is, 50 miles end to end. So when there's a fire on one side, another side of LA isn't really threatened by that fire. I live fairly centrally. I'm not threatened by either of those fires. They're out kind of more in the country. The smoke is more the issue. So watch the wind direction, watch the smoke. If they can get that Eaton fire out and the smoke is no longer an issue over the weekend, then we should be good. But if they do have to move the game, it will be due to air quality reasons. It wouldn't be the first time that happened. Ben Lieber even talked about a time where that happened to him when he was playing in San Diego with the Chargers. And they went over to Arizona. but it would be like an air quality thing. The wind direction either needs to change or they need to get that big old Eaton fire out, which is sort of the second priority because it is slightly smaller of a fire, but it is threatening like all of Pasadena, the Rose Bowl, all that.
And people are saying, well, hey, there's 4 days until the game. Certainly it's going to be taken care of, but they have to
It's a
make
big fire.
They have to make this decision, though, by Saturday, I would think, at the latest. I mean, it's not 4 days. It's more like 2 days.
Right.
I don't think that they're going to wait till day. Well, they're not. They're not going to wait till day of game. Probably not day before game either because the Vikings have to travel. So this decision will have to come down in the next 48 hours, I would think. Good update there from Luke Braun on the geography. Let's get some matchups, Vikings-Rams, and what intrigues you. Let's start with Luke Inman.
Yeah, I think everybody's just talking about right now is did the Lions give the Rams some sort of blueprint, right, to stop Sam Darnold in the passing game? And I think if you're LA, I mean, we know they got the guys up front. They can win in the trenches. They can get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. We saw that last time they played in, week 8? But I think the big thing when you watch back that Lions game was outside of Darnold just missing a lot of throws, which we talked about on Monday's show, but was the Lions back end physically holding up versus JJ and Addison and Hawkinson. And that's something that, with JJ and Addison, we've talked about that, kind of all year, is that they can sometimes, right, tend to struggle with that press technique, in-your-face stuff at the line of scrimmage, getting knocked around a little bit. I mean, just physically, you look at JJ and especially Addison, they're not these big-bodied wideouts that can thrive when they don't get that clean release and get into that second and third gear sometimes. So they love to chew up that extra space. They love to run free when it's there. That press man jam technique, I guess, at the line can take some of that stuff away if it's successful. And even though it wasn't perfect or like 100% success rate, guys did get open versus that. The Lions were able to do it more consistency or more often, I should say, I guess, than a lot of people assume, just given how many injuries they had. Even Terry and Arnold during the game obviously got carted off. So the question is, do the Rams have those types of players that can mirror that same kind of game plan and blueprint, mess up that timing just long enough to give guys in the front four, that pass rush, give them time to get after Sam Darnold? For me, I don't know if they do. I really don't. I think from a Vikings lens here, guys, I'm still fairly confident. If you're giving me JJ and Addison and even Hawkinson versus the Rams secondary, and you're saying we're going to double JJ and we're just going to man up, we're going to send an extra guy or two and leave everybody else one-on-one and see what happens, I like the Vikings' chances to hit some big chunk plays if that's the case, even after what happened versus Detroit, watching things go south the way they did versus that scheme. But, I'm fully expecting the Rams to come out with something similar here, without a doubt. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised on the first third and long of the game if they sent a zero blitz and said, let's see if they can beat us. Let's see if they fixed anything, because it worked so well last week.
There aren't exactly game wreckers on that Rams defense. The closest thing is probably the rookie, Jared Verse.
Yeah,
There's not a Donald.
He's good.
Fisky.
There's not a shutdown
Fiskey's
corner
good.
like
Florida
Ramsey.
State boys. Yeah.
Jared
Verse
Verse
is a Fisky merchant, and he has been since college. This is true.
That's why they had to get one. Yeah, you can't get one.
Gotta
without
get the
the
other
other at this
to
point.
make the
Fiskey's like,
Yep.
I can't go anywhere else except with Jared Verse. So
Yeah, Verse right behind Jonathan Grenard in pressures. Grenard 3, Verse 4 in his rookie year. But I don't think there is a guy that you are thinking, all right, this is the one. You're not circling one person on that Rams defense and saying, like, the whole key is containing them or the whole key is beating them in the past game. Yeah, Braun, your thoughts?
Well, so I asked this to Doug McCain, who does Locked on Rams. He's been covering LA sports for a decade on the crossover. And he said that, like, the man coverage thing, that he does not expect that. He expects zone, do it by committee, brackets, and that there isn't going to be one kind of person like there was last week. Amik Robertson, we trust you. You're going to be the guy to do this on Jefferson. We'll give you help, but you're the main guy. The way the Bears did it with Jalen Johnson, doesn't seem like they're going to do that. Chris Shula has been in LA since Sean McVay got there. So he has been there through all the Brandon Staley stuff and all of the, Raheem Morris times. And a lot of that their most successful times have been a little bit more back it off, be conservative. He described the Rams defense as a conservative unit. They don't blitz a lot. They don't, man up and take their chances. It's a lot of keep stuff in front of you and try to tackle, which I told him, those are the kinds of defenses that Sam Darnold puts up 350 on. And he said, well, that's their style, and they're probably going to bring what got him there.
Arif.
Yeah, that all makes sense. Taking a look at some of the matchup numbers from the game itself, obviously you're concerned about the pressure that Jared Verse was able to bring, primarily on the right side. So it's something you have to watch out for with Brian O'Neill. It's a better matchup, at least, than if it were Cam Robinson. So it's something you got to pay attention to. But I'm really concerned. I'm really curious about the man versus zone question, right? Because the Rams are obviously, the offense can perform against both styles of coverage, but they have been feasting on man coverage. The Vikings have been using a lot more man coverage over the last 4 or 5 weeks, but the specialization of the Vikings has been their ability to blitz from zone coverage. So I'm kind of curious how that plays out. The Vikings didn't blitz as often against Stafford in week 8 as they did in the final 5-6 weeks of the season. So we'll see if kind of like that's going to be part of the game plan. But, and again, it was still at a high rate, right? It was like a 38% blitz rate, one of the higher rates you get across the league. But it was still something that's kind of notable given that they've been blitzing at above 60% over the last, 5 weeks. And so I'm curious how that's going to change. That increase in blitz percentage also seems to correlate with an increase in man coverage usage. So I'm confident that there's going to be a little bit more man coverage here, but the Rams have been doing a very good job of carving that up. And the Vikings have been doing a pretty good job of forcing teams to throw to the outside, to throw to receivers, and they don't pay as much attention to, or teams don't pay as much attention to throwing tight ends and running backs in the passing game. That's good against a lot of teams that the Vikings have played. Here, that's not as ideal, right? I would rather they target, Kyren Williams over like Cooper Kupp, right? So I'm kind of curious how the Vikings kind of choose to organize the way that zone coverage looks to see if they can funnel passes in different directions. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those matchups where it's like, the Vikings obviously have a good defense. They'll always have, an advantage in that sense, but stylistically, it is not the most optimal scenario for the Vikings defense, which that's going to happen.
I need a theory on this Rams offensive line because the numbers don't add up. They haven't given up a sack. Stafford's not been sacked since December 1st, which is insane.
That's crazy.
Wasn't sacked against the Vikings. Vikings had a very poor rush game. The numbers would suggest that their offensive line is bad in pass protection. They're ranked 30th, 30th per PFF. There's also not any noticeable shift in Stafford getting the ball out quicker, at least in time in pocket. I tried to filter that out, and I'm like,
what about just average depth? Average?
You moving around?
Not throwing the ball.
He's not moving around at all. Like Stafford's using his legs from a scramble perspective less than he ever has. Maybe he's moving out of the pocket and still throwing the ball outside the pocket, but I don't know what to think of that offensive line. The only guy who's got who's had a legit year is Alaric Jackson, the tackle, left tackle. But you got 6th round rookie center. Whose name is Bo Limmer, Steve Avila, Kevin Dotson, Joe Noteboom, who has been in and out all year with injury. He's only played 4 games. I feel like the offensive line can be beaten. This is my hot take for the game, is that they'll be able to get to Stafford. Anyone
is Sam Ekstrom disagreeing with PFF grades?
Which is a rarity.
What is
what's
going
happening right now?
Well, I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing with them being 30th in pass protection more than I'm agreeing with the fact that they haven't allowed sacks.
Okay. Well, yeah. So what if they're just good and PFF is wrong? That's the other theory.
Well, ESPN also suggests that they're 20th in pass block win rate, and
they're better than 30th.
Yeah, you get 2 organizations saying they're below average. They're probably below average, but 30th seems like a stretch given what you just put out. Yeah, no, I'm really curious about.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah,
to high times KG. I think there were 2 different pieces on that offensive line too when the Vikings played that game. I don't think Avila was there. I don't think Noteboom was there. So
yeah,
I don't think Noteboom was there. Yeah,
one of the key things about that game was that the Rams used a lot of bigger personnel, and therefore got the Vikings into their base personnel. And when the Vikings are in their base personnel and you can throw against, like if you can throw out of 12, you should do it against the Vikings, because then a lot of the 4-man pass rushes will consist of like Jonathan Bullard and Harrison Phillips, and suddenly your interior gets the easiest day of their life. But if teams that like to spread it out and run a little more, and run around a little bit more, that like to go 4 wide or just live in 11 personnel or whatever. As soon as the Vikings can go nickel, then it gets a lot nastier. In terms of the pass rush.
Which is funny. The Rams used to be the #1 team in 11 personnel not long ago.
Long. That's 7 years. That's an eternity ago. They're a totally different team than they were before. They're a much more like big pound 'em Kyron Williams team right now.
Tight
I'm
formation
curious, though.
Tight formation.
Yeah, I'm really curious though, because the Vikings don't match personnel for personnel as often as a lot of other defenses do. So I wonder if they see the jumbo packages go out there and they stay in like big safety nickel.
That could have been, wow, the Rams offensive line is really hurt. I bet our interior guys can pass rush a little bit on them, and now we can stop the run. Like that might have been the game plan, and then just backfired on them.
Yeah, that could be it. The Vikings, obviously, they didn't have Blake Cashman in that game, famously.
Right.
I think that's probably pretty relevant. Did they have Ivan Pace for that game? I think.
Yeah,
he
got
but he was horrible.
He had 13 tackles that game, but
he was a disaster in that game.
He was not good.
He went the wrong way a ton. He was a big. That was probably his worst.
Yeah,
game.
and the Vikings suggested after the game that Ivan Pace was taking on Blake Cashman's responsibilities, right?
Right.
And then they never did that again.
Yeah. So some of those key mistakes, I think they'll be able to avoid at least.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, you got it.
I was just going to say, I know we're going to get into like why they lost the first time around. That was, I mean, first of all, I think I brought it up on Monday. Like, you lose Christian Darrisaw going into the locker room at halftime. You got to throw a Quessenberry on the fly. That was a lot to ask. Too much to ask in the end. Actually, the score was 14-14 going into halftime. Kind of similar to the Lions game. Like, okay, anybody's game at halftime, even though the Lions game felt a lot different, right? But it was all tied up, is my point. And then in the second half, Jared Verse and company just started getting after him with another gear, right? Just play after play. That had a lot to do with the offensive woes for sure. But defensively, we talked about a lot, the communication stuff, not having Blake Cashman wearing the green dot. I know we can't say he's undefeated anymore, but like I read off those stats. I think it was before last week's game from Brett Coleman. With and without
the EPA
him,
per play split's insane.
Yeah, succession rate, conversion rate, EPA, it's all literally top 3 with him, bottom 5 in EPA and conversion rate. I think success rate was 14th, so middle of the pack. But, I mean, that alone should do wonders, not to mention the communication stuff. They had 9 penalties. I think that's the most penalties they've had in any game, 5 of which gave the Rams a free first down. The Vikings had 0 first downs from penalties, so I mean, 0 to 5, that's a monster swing alone right there, too. And plus, Luke, you brought it up on Monday. I don't think they were ready for Puka. Right.
No, they've said so. Both Kevin O'Connell on X's and O's and Brian Flores on the podium said,
how do you not have a
we were
plan
kind of
B?
caught off guard.
How do you not have a plan B in your pocket? But regardless, forget about
it. His window wasn't open. He was still on IR until literally the day before the game. So they didn't think that he was.
Sounds like chicanery. Sounds like some cheating.
Arif, are you panning for gold
Perhaps.
off camera? I feel like I'm hearing like metal, like some kind of. Does anyone else hear that?
No, that's what I heard earlier, and I asked Arif if he heard it when you guys weren't here, and he said,
"Yeah, somebody's getting
so
feedback."
I thought maybe it was on my end. I don't know.
Oh man,
let's blame it on the fires. There were a lot of
Santa Ana wins make it weird.
Anomalous things that happened in that game. So number 1, losing your left tackle. Luke brought it up. Number 2, like I watched it. This was on NFL Network yesterday. I watched some of the game. The holding call on Byron Murphy was one of the worst I've ever seen that extended their second touchdown drive. Like the amount of third down penalties that extended drives, just a little weird. The missed face mask, super weird. The Jalen Naylor drop when you were down by 4 going in to take the lead. Naylor drops the ball where you might have scored a touchdown. So like these are like your defense sucked in the game. There were also a lot of weird little one-off things that happened. Also a Thursday night. Right? Like it was a weird football game with a lot of strange things that primarily went against the Vikings.
Sam, was this the game where after that you had us all edge the question about whether or not the Vikings had like a wide receiver depth problem?
I think that was later on.
Yeah. All I know about that one
is... Thank you for bringing that back up.
I popped on the postcast in the car on the way home and ranted real hard about face masks and then logged off.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. You hopped on the post.
I changed some of the audio settings, by the way. How
You got real quiet. You got real quiet.
Great. Fantastic.
Yeah, good.
I
Hey,
go
live
back-
production, everybody. Woo!
Go back to where it was. Yeah, and by the way, we're getting questions about game location, LA or Arizona. I mean, I Luke, you've said it's 50-50 when the Vikings play in LA. If it's in Arizona,
It was last time.
If it's in Arizona, it's going to be 80-20 Vikings.
Yes. It was 50-50 last time. Again, from the crossover, Doug McCain's been like watching ticket sales like a hawk and thinks that there will be a bigger Rams presence this time if it is in SoFi. But yeah, in Arizona,
How confident are you in that?
In ticket sales data, I have no idea.
No, in the playing in SoFi. What is your guts?
Oh, and how in their likelihood to play at SoFi? I still think it's pretty likely. I think it's pretty tough to imagine them moving the game. Like literally, it takes a wind shift, and then there's just no issue.
Okay.
Sometime over the weekend, like yeah, I don't think so. Somebody in the chat said, the news is saying that some areas are still 0% contained. Wildfires are kind of 0% contained, and then suddenly they go all the way. Once you get like one like border on it, once you get one good wall on the fire and one like section of it contained, you can then start to divert resources from there, because contained means it's not spreading this way anymore, and we're really confident in that. So yeah, they kind of tend to the first 10%, and then it suddenly goes up to 100% really fast.
Oh, you heard it here. Luke says build a wall.
Yep. We have to keep those fires out until we figure out what's going on or something. I don't know.
Sure. All right.
Like we said, though, decision has to happen soon, and I don't think you can just assume or anticipate the wind shift, right? I mean, you kind of have to go by what's happening in the moment,
Right.
Which might require them to do that on a Saturday. And then if it ends up being fine, well, on Monday, sorry, you made the decision. I could see the Rams, being upset about that, fighting that,
For sure.
wanting the league to wait to the last second. I get that.
The real thing is the Rams practice facility is in Woodland Hills, which is like 5-minute drive away from the border of the Palisades fire.
Yeah.
So they have not been able to use their facility. Like their facility is almost in an evac zone.
Wow.
Huh. I hadn't considered that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Their practice schedule is kind of messed up now.
Common Man asking us to be sensitive. He's still going through the Detroit trauma. What can we tell Common Man to ease his nerves?
So Common Man says he's fragile.
He's in a fragile state. Hasn't listened
Are
to
you
anything
new
since
here?
the Lions game.
Common, if I can call you that.
Can I call you calm?
Calm. Drink some tea, and then watch the worst YouTube videos imaginable. And then I think you'll be kind of inured from what the Vikings might be able to do to you.
Yeah. Football teams hurt you.
Yeah.
It's what they do.
Yeah.
There are 14 teams currently eligible for the Super Bowl, and 13 of them are going to hurt their fan bases irreparably. Be ready for that.
Oh,
Don't be fragile.
People are asking me what I'm eating. I am currently in Canada. I'm eating a DoorDash delivery of stacked pancake and breakfast house. It's delicious.
Ooh.
Sounds delicious, actually.
Not an Uncrustable.
I think a lot of people just had money on an Uncrustable because
Yeah, no,
just
there was
odds
some
are
Uncrustable
with
chatter
you
in the
it's an
chat, I get
Uncrustable.
it. Yeah, well,
And are you a grape or
strongly
a strawberry guy, by the way?
Whatever's
didn't ever-
available, really. But I guess I prefer the strawberry, but the grape is just much more available.
Interesting. We are going to unveil our preseason predictions, what we thought of the year way back in September, and how we did in those predictions. Ron Johnson also expected to join at some point during the show, coming up on the Minnesota Football Party. We are brought to you today by FanDuel. There's a new year and a new deal at FanDuel to help you take advantage of the NFL playoffs and get the year off to a great start. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. $200 in bonus bets, whether that $5 bet wins or loses. The FanDuel app gives you everything you need to place live bets, future bets, same game parlays. We're going to make some parlays later in the show. So much more. And for the playoffs, they really beef it up too. Like all those props are available right now. You've got several days to get those in, put together your ticket. Visit the website, share the betting lines, check them out, see how the line's moving. It's gone from Vikings -2.5 to -1.5. A little bit of shifting action there on Vikings-Rams. But check out FanDuel.com. Get started with $200 in bonus bets with your first $5 bet. It's FanDuel.com. Make the playoff season unforgettable at FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. As we await Ron Johnson, let's get into our preseason predictions. Now, we're going to get Inman involved here because he missed the episode where we made these predictions. So I'm going to give you our predictions blind, no IDs, and you try to figure out who guessed what. Who was the optimist? Who was the pessimist? And we'll see how Inman does. And in fact, we're going to table that as Ron comes in. We'll get to that after Ron Johnson joins, as he does every Thursday. He's getting set up right now. He's at 3 Ron Johnson on X. He's the host of the Ron Johnson Show, doing Vikings postcast with us, Gophers postcast. He was on after the PJ Fleck Mayo bath last week, which honestly, legitimately the only reason I tuned in. So the Mayo bath works. The Mayo bath creates virality, if you will. We'll get Ron Johnson up here right now. He's at 3 Ron Johnson. What's up, Ron?
Hello, Ron.
We'll do it live.
I don't know if you can hear
We'll do
us
it
either.
live.
We'll do it live. Hey, Ron.
He's going to troubleshoot
Okay.
and get going here in just a second. I was thinking about our I'll tee this up too for later in the show. Playoff gambling segment. Obviously, Luke Braun lost the regular season contest. We also still have someone who's like got a magnet over their computer creating interference. I don't know what that is. Could be me. I'm thinking we do $100 parlays on Vikings-Rams this week. We pick a game every week. We do a parlay. Anything goes. Any number of legs. No limit on odds. Just go nuts. $100 parlay. And then the loser's got to front our Super Bowl bet. Anyone opposed to those stakes?
Sounds good.
Yep.
I like it.
Sounds
I
good.
like it. I like it.
If we're doing that kind of thing, we could even work in a longtime Locked On sponsor in Prize Picks, which is what they do there.
We also have a long-time locked-on sponsor in FanDuel. We've got a couple
This is
options.
very true. Options.
Let's check on Ron. We got you, Ron?
1, 2.
Still
You
muted,
got me?
Ron. Oh, there we go.
Yes.
Got me?
Yes.
What, 2? Ron's in the lab, baby.
How's it going? I couldn't hear you guys. I don't know what was
Welcome
going on.
in. We couldn't hear you. Now we can hear each other. This is great. Good to have you aboard. Does the reputation of Matthew Stafford carry more weight to you than his recent performance? Because his recent performance has not been good, but he's Matthew Stafford. What kind of outweighs the other in your mind?
I mean, reputation in the playoffs, definitely. Because, you get older guys in the playoffs and they have a little bit more knowledge of what it takes to win. He's a Super Bowl champion. He's been there before with this Rams team. So that's what a lot of, like, you look at Eli Manning with the Giants, you just need a chip chair and a chance. And that's what the Rams have right now. And, honestly, when you think about old school poker, I don't know if you guys remember Chris Moneymaker. And then you look at like Daniel Negreanu. Give me Daniel Negreanu any day over Moneymaker, because Moneymaker was a one-time flash in the pan, got famous, won on ESPN, and then we didn't hear anything else from him. Negreanu has continued to just be like a grinder, and he continues to play and continues to win. And that's what Matthew Stafford is to me. He's not a one-time flash in the pan quarterback. He's a grinder. He's a guy that, if you end up in the last situation where it's like Sam Darnold has a chance to lead the team down and they score, and then you give them too much time on the clock, he's one of those too much time on the clock guys.
Glad you didn't compare him to Phil Ivey, though. That would have been something.
Sammy Darnold is Chris Moneymaker.
I wouldn't say that, but yeah, I mean, I guess I could say that. I would probably, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like a quarterback who won a Super Bowl one time, and then that was really it. Like, like Joe Flacco,
like
I
a
guess.
Foles.
Kind of,
Flacco,
or like
yeah.
a Nick Foles. Nick Foles could be it. But yeah, like a Flacco. Flacco kind of, came out of nowhere.
Kept playing. Like
he did.
He was still in all the things.
He did.
Yeah.
He just wasn't what he was anymore.
Bracelets.
Like he just wasn't the guy that everybody thought he was. Like the cool glasses. He started going without his glasses, and that wore on us. Like, this is not the same guy that we were all rooting for. Last time he won it. But
you changed, Moneymaker. You changed.
I would say
it's easy to get lucky for a day. It is very hard to get lucky for a career.
Yeah. So like Flacco, he had a great defense. He ended up going out there and making some big time plays. And then, just kind of hung around a little bit. He's out there. He's good. He's going to get it done. But is he going to ever win the Super Bowl again? Probably not. And I don't think, Matthew Stafford is more of a guy that grinds it. Like he's always in the conversation. He's always getting his team like right there. And he has the weapons. I think that's the key too, is, he has Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, and Cooper Kupp reminds me of like a sleeping giant. Like, I hope nobody goes out there and starts trash talking the fact that Puka Nacua is number one, because that's all like, it's like Michael Jordan. No, I'm gonna take that personally. Like you don't want to give Cooper Kupp any added fuel to want to go out there and be the best that we've ever seen. Whereas like Puka Nacua is quote unquote the number one, but don't give him any bulletin board material. Like, just let's let this week play out. Let's not say anything. And then let's see what happens. I think the Vikings beat them this time just because they learned. And I loved Kevin O'Connell's presser on Tuesday when he kind of said, like, there were some things I could have done probably to help Sam Darnold out. And I'll be better next time. And that was what my tweet was about. It was like, you look at, like, I looked at one of the red zone plays, and I'm finally going to release it. I had a thing last night with John Randall, so I wasn't able to post them last night, and I was talking to Pete Burchett about this. There was a couple times where TJ Hawkinson was by himself on one side, and there was a 3-by-1, 3 receivers to the left, and they run like a mesh concept with Hawkinson being like the rub guy, and then somebody else was supposed to come underneath. It's like, why not just run a fade? Like, you got him manned up with a cornerback. He's 6'5". Just throw it up. Like, have him go play basketball. Go stand in the end zone, and Sam, throw it as high as you can throw it. Kyle Rudolph did it against the Saints. So you're telling me TJ Hawkinson can't do that? So that's the only thing to me I was kind of like, I think they're going to miss some better red zone calls, especially goal-to-goal calls.
Hey, Ron, just in general, what matchups, what storylines, I guess, are you most intrigued about when you look at these playoff seedings, the brackets right now, both the NFC and the AFC, because there's some good matchups on the horizon this weekend.
Yeah, don't be surprised when the 6 and the 7 seeds actually win some of these games. I think there's a chance
Ron Johnson,
out there.
Packers guy, got it.
Yeah, no, I don't know
if all the road
Packers.
team win. If all the road teams win, we're at home.
Yeah,
we host the Commanders.
I don't know if the Packers could do it, but I think the Commanders can do it.
Yeah,
and even if the Commanders do it, they take the Lions. Like, the Lions don't get the Vikings off of a bye week, because last time the Lions came off of a bye week, they absolutely shellacked the Cowboys, and so let them get beat up a little bit by the Washington Commanders. And honestly, like, again, Washington Commanders versus the Lions, I don't know if they blitz a quarterback that's willing to run the ball like that. And like Jaden Daniels with his legs, like, he's a guy that's like, look, if you blitz me, I'm out of here, and I'm faster than your guys. And so that would be an interesting matchup. Washington having to travel to Detroit with a running quarterback like that who throws the ball but has the ability to beat you with his legs if you all out blitz him and you go man. All your cornerbacks' backs are turned, and he can run for 20, 30 yards before they even realize he's gone. And that's what I think a lot of people were hoping they would do with Sam Darnold, with some of the, like, run some play action stuff, get him out. But no, that's my storyline. Don't be surprised when these 6 and 7 seeds pop up and you're like, whoa, this is they actually might win this one in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, maybe Harbaugh and the Chargers, Justin Herbert over C.J. Stroud. I guess
Yeah,
that's just a
like-
4 and a 5 seed, but
But still,
No,
like,
that's
I
an
just
exciting
think
game. I don't care.
I think the lower seeds, like, the lower seeds are not and again, the Vikings-Rams, I think the Vikings win that one. So like I said, I think the lower seeds, this is one of the few playoffs where you feel like, oh, it's just I think Eagles-Packers is going to be domination Eagles. But other than that, the rest are all kind of like, I think there's going to be some exciting games this weekend.
Yeah.
And the best part is we get to sit back and watch all of them and just wait till Monday.
Yeah, until Monday. Yeah, it all gets played out. If the Vikings, if they win, who they're going to play. That's nice. I did want to ask about this Packers-Eagles thing, because Luke Braun has just, and you have to forgive him, he has been just absolutely excited about the idea that the Packers win, So Luke cheering for the Packers. Let's keep that in mind.
Yep.
The Packers win, and then they play the Lions, and then the Vikings play the Lions in the NFC Championship game to have like a very kind of like tight story for how the NFC plays out, all residing within the NFC North. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think that's a possibility as well. Again, Jalen Hurts coming off in concussion protocol. I'm interested to see how much they allow him to do in that game. Like how many because I've seen them do the tush push with the tight end. So how many tush pushes do they do with him, or do they de facto say, we don't want you just sticking your head in there just in case somebody punches you in the head because the Packers are dirty? There's going to be a lot of things that he might be limited. Like he might not want to go head first on some of his, quarterback rushes. He might, start giving himself up and just sliding and say, I got to protect my head. All of that, and again, if he gets a little dizzy or if he gets a little fatigued, like all of that goes with the concussion where he might not be himself. And if he's throwing a couple to the other team and the Packers, but the Packers defense, I know they're a little banged up. So that's the other key too, they're not at full strength. But yeah, no, I could easily see, like I said, I could see the Packers doing it. I just don't feel like the Packers have enough. I do feel like the Commanders can beat the Bucks. I just don't know if the Packers have enough. Like, and that's what's interesting. But you're right. The Texans, Chargers won. Bills, Broncos. I don't know. I don't give the Broncos any hope in that one.
I think the Bills are going to crush them, honestly.
Like, I don't think they have any chance. Like, but Steelers, Ravens, you never know. Like that's a rivalry game. And you never know. Like I remember I played in that game like 5 or 6 times and it was fights. Like it doesn't matter what the records are. There's going to be some brouhaha, some, it's one of those games where you don't know who's going to come out alive. And I think, again, it could be anybody's game with that one too. Like the Steelers could upset the Ravens. I mean,
I can't believe the spread is Baltimore by 9.5. That's the biggest spread of any game, even more than the Buffalo.
Well,
Denver
Russell
game.
Wilson has been kind of blocked. He started out pretty good, and then I don't know. Like I don't know what's going on.
Pickens disappeared. And he got
Sam,
hurt for
do you
a
have
couple
any?
weeks.
Do you have any comment on Russell Wilson kind of petering out in the middle of the season?
Just saving up for the playoffs. Yeah.
Does that sound like something he would do with the playoffs on the line?
He's a champion.
Sam's a Russell Wilson fan.
Oh yeah, he's a huge Russell Wilson guy.
Okay, sorry about that, Sam.
At one point in time,
he was like the Vikings should have brought in Russell Wilson instead of Sam Darnold. That was a Sam.
You know what though?
Special.
Russell Wilson with Kevin O'Connell, I think would be great. I really do. Like I think Kevin O'Connell can make. I mean, he made Josh Dobbs a worldwide name. Like Josh Dobbs, I don't think ever thought he would sit down with Aaron Andrews. Like, he made him a worldwide name for a while. And then, like Carissa Thompson's reaching out to him. Like, so yeah, I think Russell Wilson with Kevin O'Connell could have been greatness. I think it could have. Like, I don't like, and maybe selfishly we'd have had Sierra in the building every week. So that would have been, like I would have asked her because she won 2 steps still. Like, just it would have been fun.
Hey, we got a Vikings roster move. Let's play the sound. I don't know what it is yet. Just blind playing the sound. The Vikings have signed Brett Rippon to the practice squad and signed Trevor Reed to a futures contract. Cool.
Great, thanks, Sam.
Saskatchewan Roughriders. Sorry,
I was about to say Daniel Jones has been listed as the number 2 quarterback for the playoffs.
Pardon the interruption. That was pointless. Luke Braun, what do you got?
Let's dive into that a little bit. Do you think Daniel Jones, now that he's on the active roster, should be the number 2 quarterback over Nick Mullins?
I do. Yes, I do.
You do?
I mean, seriously,
you know he's only been here like 2 months?
Yes. If he was here there's more than enough time to learn this offense. Again, this is an NFL quarterback that won a playoff game. So yes, he's 6'5". Like he looks like the character that like Elsa and Anna would fight over in like Frozen 3. Like that's what Daniel Jones reminds me of, and so I could easily see him. Like seriously,
I never thought about it.
Sam loved that. Sam loved that.
And when you first said that, I was like, "That's ridiculous."
He does.
Daniel Jones looks goofy, and then I remembered Frozen, and I was like,
"Yeah,
oh no, they all look goofy."
Yeah, exactly. He's like he's a Frozen. He could be a Frozen prince, that like gets sold off, but he wants to go play hockey. So they're like, this is the perfect relationship. She can freeze ice for you, and then you can skate all day in practice. Like it'd be a perfect like made movie. But like again, he's won playoff games. He's an RPO quarterback. And what do the Vikings sometimes struggle with? The offensive line. How do you negate the defensive rush? You RPO some of this stuff. And if Daniel Jones, like again, if Daniel Jones had been here the whole year, I think we would have a playoff RPO package. Like I think he would come in where you'd have maybe Sam Darnold flex out to the right. Daniel Jones is under center. He can throw it over to Sam Darnold for Sam Darnold to throw it, or he can just go ahead and run the play. Where have we seen that though? What team just did that? Wasn't there a team that put 2 quarterbacks in the game and did that, or I think in college? I thought the NFL team just did that. Like they put their starting quarterback out wide and put their backup quarterback at quarterback, and they ran something.
I mean, the Steelers would do that kind of thing with Justin Fields.
Yeah, the Steelers with Justin Fields. Yeah, they did do that.
Yeah.
So
the
you know,
Commanders did a little tomfoolery in the last game too.
I was gonna say Jets, but Jets are just dumb. I forgot that was just Aaron Rodgers running over.
Right? Yeah, I was also gonna say the Jets, and then I was.
But it was just Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams being dumb. And Aaron Rodgers threw like a backward pass and got Devontae Adams lit up. So, but no, like I could see like 3 or 4 plays, maybe like just, hey, second or first down in the red zone, Daniel Jones, you come in, you're going to run RPO to the right and just hold it. If it's there, hand it off to Aaron Jones. If it's not there, you run out. And then your secondary quick pass could be to whoever, a slant route, like he's done that. And so also his legs, and if I'm going to waste a tush push, I'm wasting a tush push with Daniel Jones, not with freaking Sam Darnold getting his head, ripped off. So, and there's some things I would try, but that's just me. I love tinkering with the offense a little bit, but I know it's probably not going to happen.
One of our commenters thought the dual quarterback thing was in the Mayo Bowl. Gophers.
Oh, the Gophers did do that with Drake Lindsey. Yep, they did.
Yeah.
They brought Drake Lindsey in, and then they had what's his name, Max Brosmer out to the right. Great job, commenter. That was where I saw it too. But no, I have seen Justin Fields do it too with Russ. So, but I mean that's the thing. Like if you have 2 quarterbacks, why not try that? Like why not do some stuff where the defense has no idea? Maybe if you do it twice, it's just something they haven't prepared for. So now they're scrambling. They're doing the, pump up, which means we're just got to go in a basic cover 2. Like, let's sit back. Don't do anything stupid because we don't know what's coming. It's just something to throw the defense off.
Ron, in closing with you, any John Randall anecdotes from last night that you can share?
Yeah, he was an absolute nut job.
No way.
So he walks in and I don't know what happened, but some lady like kept trying to talk to him, and like he was like, "Hey, I'm not signing autographs until later. Like I'm just here to hang out." So we were all there early to wait, and we were sitting in the bar. And you know how it is. Like after being in a bar for an hour, some people have had like 2 or 3 shots by now. So the lady like comes back with the shirt, and she's like, "Hey, I'll put this on." And so in my mind, I'm like, "Wait, what is she about to take her shirt off?" And then I look back and the lady is every bit of 70 years old. So I'm like, she's not taking her shirt off. So then she's trying to like put her shirt on over her shirt. And John Randall still looks, he's like, I'm still not signing that. Like, just wait. Like, so he was. So when I'm sitting there, I'm like, I couldn't imagine that though. Like, that's got to be a little frustrating. You're just trying to have like a couple French fries and you're trying to hang out with the guys and people keep coming over to your table. And, we were all just trying to stand at the table, me, Bursage, and Randall. And just talk, we were talking about, like they were talking about the playoffs and talk about the Broncos because George Payton knows some Vikings people. So I guess some Vikings people were going to go out to the Broncos playoff game because George Payton invited them and, all kinds of stuff like that. And he's just trying to tell stories and people just keep coming over trying to take pictures and whatever. But no, he was great. He was just hamming it up a little bit. Whenever the camera would come on, he helmet up and then all of a sudden he just go back to normal. And then the last thing he told me, he was like, yeah, man, I'm going this place, and this place to speak. And I was like, oh, are the Vikings take you or what? Like, he's like, nah, man, this is me. Like, I do this. He's like, don't let the smooth taste fool you. Like, I share my life with people, man. I get paid to do this. Like, so, he's hilarious. And I'm like, smooth taste. I've never said smooth taste and John Randall in the same sentence. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about right now? But yeah, it was a fun night. I think we're
now Ron knows what it's like when other people talk to him. This is fantastic.
Just like it was hilarious. So we were just sitting back. But yeah, no, so we're doing it again tonight, and then we'll do it for one more Friday at the Mall America. So, and the Mall America, like I don't know if he's coming to the Mall America or he's gonna go to a bar in the area and then we're gonna like shoot him at the bar. But I like the Mall America is going to be nuts, I've heard, because they've already like pre-sold the like sitting area because there's supposed to be other alumni guys. I don't know who exactly. I don't know what former. I'm guessing Ben Lieber is one of them. So it's going to be a fun. It's been a long week already, but it should be fun. But yeah, John Randall he's great. And I was going to interview him at first. And then like it was just too hectic. Like people kept coming over. So I'm like, it might be too weird to do it. I was like, look, let's just catch up at some point. So hopefully maybe Friday I can get them because we'll be backstage. But yeah, it's nuts the amount of people that just like come over there to him. And then the kids that really don't know who he is, but the parents keep saying who he is. So they kind of come over and like, they're like, did you play for the, like I think one kid said something like, did you play for the Vikings when it was black and white? And I was like, whoa, what?
Wow.
Wow. Holy
Shots fired.
crap.
He got boomed.
Not the purple people eaters, son.
And I think maybe that's what he was thinking. Also, one kid asked me, did I play for the Vikings? Which is fair. And then another guy came up to me and thought I was my dad. He was like, oh, man, I loved you with the Steelers, man. You guys were great. I'm like, I'm not that old, man. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you think I played in 79?
You got a little gray going.
I know, I am fully gray
salt and pepper.
now,
You get the
but-
salt and
but
pepper.
I'm
Yep,
like, I don't look
yep.
like I played in 79. Like, come on, man.
no,
Like, what are
no.
you talking about? But I didn't even correct him because I had the headset on and I had the mic. So I'm just like, oh, yeah, man, cool. All right. Get out my face.
Give him the thumbs up. Like, I can't hear you,
I
man.
stayed in great
I
shape.
can't
Well, I
hear
kind
you.
of like I did the like, you remove it to try to listen quick and like, hey man, we're back from commercial in like 30 seconds. What you got? What you got? And he's like, oh, you Steelers, right? And I'm thinking like he knows my dad, but then he like, yeah, you guys are great. And I was like, what? I was like, all right, man. Like, all right, cool. Yep. Yeah, we were great. Yeah, me, Tony Dungy, Mel Blunt, Donnie Shell. Like, man, those were the days.
Dude,
Me
we were
and Joe
hitting
Green,
people.
Jack
Yeah, right.
Lambert, Jack Ham. like those were the. Oh, and that was the other thing. So John Randall was talking about that. Every time I say it now, it's crazy to think about that defense all being on the field at the same time with that many Hall of Famers, like Jack Lambert, Jack Ham, Mel Blunt, Donnie Shell, Mean Joe Green. Like, it's just like
Crazy.
that is actually crazy that like to have that many Hall of Famers on the field. I want to do that research one day because somebody at the bar was bringing that up. I'm like, I don't know if it's ever, other than the Purple People Eaters, I can't think of a team that's had that many like Hall of Famers that actually played at the same time. Because that's crazy, which is why they won 4 Super Bowls in that span. But still, I'm like, that's pretty crazy.
Ron Johnson, everybody, on Tuesdays, the Ron Johnson Show at 3 Ron Johnson on X/Twitter. We thank you for your Thursday appearance, man. We'll talk to you on the Vikings postcast after the game. Can't wait.
Yeah, hopefully it's not a sad one. Hopefully,
I know.
Hopefully we don't have to have Luke Braun talk him off a ledge.
I'm not ready. Yeah, I'm
Well,
not
we don't
ready.
gotta-
I'll be
gotta-
screaming in a car after the game. That's
Or
you can
yeah.
sit and
don't
watch
wanna
by
lose,
that.
actually.
Will you be able to see
Yeah.
when you're driving? Like, is it going to be clear enough to drive?
Well,
Hopefully
I won't
not.
be driving.
Oh, okay.
If it's not
Yeah.
clear, enough, I think we're
They're
going
going to Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to Arizona.
Oh,
So
yeah.
Are you going to drive to
I
Arizona?
might still make it.
Okay. Yeah. If it's not clear enough, I think they have till Saturday, I think is what or Friday
what
or
I would
Saturday.
think. Yeah.
Because the Vikings have to leave on Sunday. So I think like Friday or Saturday, they have to get the flight plan set for them. And because the bus, the whatever truck guy too, he starts driving, I think, on Saturday. So
yeah. Good point.
So right. Because he can't, I mean, I guess he could drive towards LA and then they call him, hey man, go to
Just, like,
Arizona.
switch. Yeah.
I feel like the truck's got to leave
You gotta
before Saturday too to get there by Monday. I don't know.
No,
Yeah,
I
you
think
gotta,
they
like,
drive
figure out,
straight
like, the
through the
hotel.
night.
Oh,
What
they-
is
You
it
gotta
like?
like figure out
it's
the
like
hotel. You gotta make
it's like
sure
24
you got
hours, isn't it? Isn't it a
conference room
24-hour
set up
drive
and
from
stuff
Minnesota
like
to
that.
LA?
Okay. And yeah, multiple drivers. I guess you can get.
Yeah, because the Gophers do the same thing. Their guy leaves on Friday or Thursday because we used to have to put our stuff in our bags on Thursday to get on the truck. So it's Thursday. That's why Friday practices are usually just helmets and shells because the shoulder pads and all the heavy stuff has to go. And then helmets go later on the plane. But all the heavy stuff, the trainer stuff. So yeah, the truck drivers, he has like 2 or 3 guys and they just go through the night. They just drive all the way there and then they get paid a lot of money, I'm pretty sure. But they drive all the way there and drive all the way back.
I would hope so.
So
All right.
yeah.
Well, wherever the game is played, we'll have the reaction Monday, and Ron Johnson will be a big part of it. Thanks a lot, Ron.
appreciate you.
Good stuff. Our preseason predictions revealed next. Minnesota Football Party. Brought to you by everybody's favorite ticketing app. It's Game Time. Sports, music, theater, comedy. The best memories sometimes when you reflect on the past year, it's the live entertainment, right? It's going to games with your buddies.
Game
It's
time.
going to concerts. There's energy. There's excitement. It's unforgettable. And with Game Time picks, you can filter out the fluff and get the most incredible deals on great seats.
Game time.
Right now, the Minnesota Wild are the hottest team in hockey. Get to the XL Energy Center for the second half of the hockey season. Get to Target Center as the Wolves try to turn things around and make a run. You can get the all-in price. Toggle that on at game time. Get a panoramic view from your seat. Great customer service as well. No surprise fees at checkout. Just take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Do it with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Please subscribe, by the way. Locked On Sports Minnesota, super close to 9,000 subscribers. We'd like to get there. That'd be great. Thank you. So in our preseason predictions, there ended up being 22 points available. Got like a bug thing. Get out of here. First order of business, Sam Darnold season predictions. We did yards, TDs, interceptions, and games played. 4 points available. I'm going to give the blind resume. Inman, you can chime in with who you think got it. All right.
Okay. Yep.
All right. So the first prediction was 26-12, 3,700 yards, all 17 games played. 26-12. That's pretty optimistic preseason. Somebody said 30-20. So like a Jameis kind of season.
Slinging it.
3,476 yards and 16 games played. And then somebody was a little more on the pessimistic side, 22-12, 3,300 yards and 15 games played. Who do you think?
That sounds like a non-believer. That sounds like
yeah, that sounds like you. Yeah, if I were to guess, that sounds
yep,
like
you. And I split the interceptions with the other interceptions point because someone had 12. But I did get half a point on that. But the first person got 3 of the 4 correct. Who do you think it was?
I think it was Arif.
Yeah, you're right. It was Arif.
Hey.
The final line.
I had no idea.
43-19.
You had no idea, too.
43-19.
43-19.
Regular Kirk
Wow.
Cousins season.
Let's go.
35 touchdowns, 12 picks.
35.
Man,
17.
surely they won't just let Kirk go and get another 4,000-yard passer.
No.
Surely that is
They don't
super
just
hard
grow
to
on
do.
trees, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, man, it's easy. Just pick up a bust and have him throw for 4,000 yards. What's so hard about this?
So how many of you had him playing, 16, 17 games?
I had 15. Braun had 16. Arif had all 17.
Okay. Wow.
Did we?
Wow.
Yeah,
With all
this
the
must have been after
JJ
JJ McCarthy got
Yeah,
hurt.
oh,
It
okay,
was.
I was gonna say. Okay.
It was.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought maybe there'd be a concussion
So,
protocol or
if
something.
you got half a point for the one stat, does that mean I got 1.5 points for the 3 other
Arif
stats?
got 2.5 points. Arif got yards and games played, half a point for interceptions. Braun got touchdowns, closest, and Sam gets half a point for interceptions. Aaron Jones, this was probably the person who got this right, probably had the best prediction of the segment, like the most spot on. We had somebody saying 775 with 7 touchdowns. We had someone saying 885 with 10 touchdowns. And we had someone saying 1129 with 7 touchdowns. The final answer was 1138.
Holy crap.
Ooh.
Who was it? Was that Braun? Who? Oh, my God. Well, no, we got to get...
Well, yeah.
Luke's got to guess.
I was gonna guess
no idea.
Braun, but I was gonna guess Braun, but maybe could be Sam as well. Just the way he set that whole delivery.
Right,
up
yeah,
as
he's
well.
like, this guy was a genius.
This guy's a genius. Who is this guy?
Here's the audio of that prediction. Aaron Jones, 1,129 yards, 7 touchdowns also.
Pulls the audio.
Look
from
at that, man.
A show
Wow.
3.5
You know what?
months ago.
Normally I would dunk on you for like saving the audio of the correct take, but that was so close. You got to pimp on.
No,
that
that's an
one.
incredibly powerful
that-
move.
yeah,
I
you
respect
get
it.
that.
Solid.
Solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the time Braun predicted Najee Thompson making the roster or whatever. We just-
Yeah, I tweeted out that clip. You best believe I tweeted out that clip.
Queued up, man.
Yep. Street
Unfortunately,
cred, baby.
I did have to split the touchdowns point with Braun. Braun also had 7 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson, receptions, yards, and touchdowns. The correct answer was 103, 1533 with 10 TDs.
That's crazy.
So a lot of numbers here to throw at you, but somebody had 125 receptions with 1999 yards and 10 TDs. We had someone at 105 receptions, 1,300 yards, and 8 TDs. And then we had a 121, 1799, and 11 TDs.
I'm going to go back to Arif.
Arif Hasan gets the receptions.
Yeah,
He
Arif's
gets
pretty
the-
solid with JJ. Yeah, I remember doing this the year prior. Arif was pretty solid.
Braun gets
Dude,
the
I'm
touchdown
killing the
point.
passing numbers. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
What, did you,
Running the
Sam?
ball,
Were
I
you the
don't think-
1999 person?
No, it was you.
That was you. I
Oh.
remember you being the 1999
Yeah.
person.
Oh wow, yeah.
Because you were like,
I think at a certain point in this segment, I get bored and I just start saying whatever number I think would be funniest.
You had some takes. You had some hot takes along the way.
Yeah, I
Sack-
definitely stopped taking this seriously about halfway through. Yeah.
Sack leader. The correct answer was Grenard with 12. We had someone very close with Grenard at 11.5. The other two people said Dallas Turner. Who do you think said Grenard?
I think that was you, Sam.
It was Mr. Arif Hasan. Mr. Arif Hasan.
Wow.
Arif does not believe in rookies. Let's go.
Wow.
I really said Dallas Turner.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
I guess I didn't know. I guess I thought he was going to take the job or something.
it's funny
'cause I
you
didn't
say
think
that,
Ving-
Braun, because you did believe in Dallas Turner. Let's listen.
Dallas Turner with 7.5. He's going to take snaps. He's going to be an every down player by week 4.
Oh.
Not quite there, buddy.
Oh. Okay, but like 11 and a half sack.
Easy to
prediction is
cherry
pretty
pick, right?
good.
Okay. Long season, never know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's
No,
funny.
did not nail that one.
That's funny.
I'm
Nope.
going to remember that 11 and a half sack to 12 sack. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
good stuff.
That's very good. No points given on the interception leader because nobody predicted Byron Murphy.
Byron Murphy. Who'd you guys
Yeah.
pick, Harry? Who'd you guys pick?
think
Let's
I
hear the
picked
3
Bynum.
predictions.
Did I
Ron
pick-
Bynum,
I would have
Sam,
picked
Sam Metellus, Arif Gilmore.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Gilmore didn't even get a pick until like week 5. Weak sauce, man, compared to the rest of this team.
I'm going to expedite this one. Pro Football Reference blitz rate projected,
Oh, yeah.
which is much lower than PFF, by the way. But
Yeah.
we all were pretty close on this on our predictions. Arif said 45%. I said 48.5. Braun said 50. The correct answer ended up being 38.9, and Arif
I'll
gets
take
the
it.
point. Arif had the lowest guess.
Arif running away with this right now.
Arif is
Okay.
running away with it.
So far.
Okay.
So sacks allowed by the interior offensive line, kind of unique category. We had a 10, 11, and a 12. Now,
Oh, there's no way this didn't go worse than that.
Inman, how about you guess what the final answer is? Sacks
boy.
allowed by the interior offensive line.
I'm going to say 21.
16.
Okay.
16. Okay.
What's the
16.
difference between some of the guesses? And
That's
the
what it
actual-
felt like, though. That's what it feels
Yeah.
like. Is
Yeah,
21.
no, it felt like, yeah.
You know, I think a lot of them feel interior because Cam Robinson gets beat to the inside.
Yeah,
and then they go
and
down
he's
on
just,
Cam
like,
Robinson, but
following
they're
the
beat
guy.
Yeah, on the twists, the
Yeah.
stunts. Yeah.
Will Reichard. Oh, by the way, Braun got the point.
Nice.
For
Braun's
12.
on the
Between
board.
10, 11, and
You're
12.
I think most of these I had whatever the most pessimistic number was because I was not feeling it.
None of us were at this point in time. Will Reichard, field goal percentage and extra point percentage.
Oh,
the
jeez. This
correct
changed halfway
answer-
through the season fast.
Yeah, big turnaround. So Reichard ends up 80% on field goals,
Yeah.
100% on extra points. We
Wrote a big
had
article about it on Wide Left. Ended a Patreon video. Every miss.
Well, football.
field goal percentage guesses. Gave it away. Arif said 85%. He got the point. I said 87%, and Braun said 95% on field goals. It was looking good for a bit.
Okay, hold on.
That's
We
what I
gotta-
decided
let's just
to be optimistic about was the kicker.
let's just let's let this marinate for a second. Braun is the only thing we have approximating a kicking expert.
Oh, no way. Absolutely
left.
not.
That's why I said
No
approximating, right? I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think that you are one. I think that
Please,
you
please do
would like
not
to be
think
called
of me
one.
as a kicking expert.
But you are
Please
the
do not take my
closest thing
kicking
we
projections
have.
seriously.
You are the closest thing we have to a kicking expert. Someone who looks at the mechanics, who cares about hip swing, who cares about the line that the shirt makes, you know, who understands the distance between the plant foot and the ball. That's Luke Braun. And he was like, yeah, I don't know, like 92%.
Yeah, 92.
Nailed it.
This was deep in the show, okay?
Yeah, we got audio on that.
No.
Okay.
No, I got lazy with the audio clips. So total snaps for
Understandable.
all rookies, not including special teams.
Oh, this one's always so tough.
God,
Inman,
Oh my
what do you-
God, yeah.
difficult.
So Inman, just
There's
top
no
of
way
head,
we weren't all way high, right?
we were all
Yeah.
way high, way
Yeah,
high.
yeah,
Inman,
no.
what do you think the answer is?
213.
So that's low, but it's 459.
Yeah,
was the
okay.
correct answer. 0 on offense. 0. No rookies played a snap on offense.
I guess, yeah.
You've
That
got
makes sense.
300 for Turner, 70 for Taimani, 35 for Murphy, 29 for Richter, 19 for McGlothern,
Hey,
six-
McGlothern.
Let's go, baby.
6
Nudie.
for Drake Rodriguez.
Okay.
All right, Jack Rodriguez. Let's go.
Point goes to Arif again, who had 1,100.
Again.
1,100.
Don't sound so morose again.
I had 2,100, by the way. So what was it? What in the world? I think I
1,100.
counted for injuries.
I had the closest by more than doubling the actual amount. That's rough.
We know what we're talking about on this show. Our prognostications are never wrong. The Vikings' third player in receiving yards. Third in receiving yards.
I would have guessed Aaron Jones, I feel
Interesting.
like. Just the way I was talking leading up to week 1.
Yeah, well, we had expected Hawkinson to return, I think, earlier than
That's
he actually
true,
did,
too, yeah.
So I think he was a
But
candidate
like that was
for
like
this.
part of it was trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
You were so confident in that, Arif, that you said Addison because you thought Hawkinson would exceed Addison in yards.
That rules.
Yeah.
love
That
that.
rules.
I actually
Hawk-
like that.
Hawkinson was the correct answer.
Okay.
Braun had 790 yards. He ended up with 455, but Braun gets the point.
Sure.
Sure.
I'll take what I can get.
Hey, Braun creeping back into this.
Well, let's not.
What's the score even at? I know. I feel like Arif's ahead by 10 miles.
I pre-counted the score, so I will have it at
okay.
the end.
It feels
but,
like
um,
about 6 for Arif, 2 Braun. Sam, you got 1 or 2?
Creeping back in, he says 6-2.
point and a half.
Could go on a run. Go on a little run here.
Total special teams and defensive touchdowns. Can you name them all?
No.
Ooh,
Uh,
wait, let
Van
me try.
Ginkel-
Ivan
Van
Pace,
Ginkel.
Detroit
Two
game.
Van Ginkels, 1 Ivan Pace.
Van Ginkel, yep.
Yeah, that's it. Don't.
That's
it.
Don't beat yourself up thinking of it. Guess who gets this point? Guess who got it exactly right?
Sam.
You seem annoyed, so it's Arif.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Arif.
I think it's me based off. I said 3.
I said goose egg, and then Van Ginkel got one in week 1.
What did I
I
say?
have no idea what my justification for 3 was.
You said 1. Braun,
Oh,
you
I
said
said
1.
Okay.
Okay.
I think you wanted a kick return.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because
sure.
it was special teams. Like, surely, I think Kene Nwangwu hadn't been cut yet. We were like, this will come back. It's a new kickoff.
He was on this team. That's so crazy.
Yeah. I got a bold
By the
prediction
way,
from my
Kene
show
Nwangwu
a season
did-
long.
Kenny Nwangwu did get a return touchdown this year, so I wasn't
did.
wrong
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
that.
So
guys
did
remember-
Amir Smith-Marset also had
Yeah,
one
he
this
did
year.
for the Giants.
That's the other one I was going to say. Do you remember my bold prediction about the Steelers? I said this: Mike Tomlin, the Steelers are going to go
Yeah.
above 500, clinch a playoff spot because Cordell Patterson is going to lead the
There we
league
go.
with this new kickoff rule.
There we
He's going to
go.
break all the metrics with this kickoff rule.
You can set your watch by the Steelers getting 10 wins and a wild card spot.
That's true.
That part's the automatic.
Lost fumbles. Remember, coming off the 15 last year, lost fumbles.
We guessed on this one? What?
Okay.
We had a 6.
Sam had a narrative.
We had a 6. We had a 10, and we had a 14. Do you know the correct answer? Because this is actually a hard one to find. This is not a readily available stat.
I'm gonna guess like 8.
Yeah, 7.
I feel like
Just
there hasn't
seems
been like a
high.
ton.
Seems
Top of the old head, Arif says 8. It's 8. It's 8.
It's 8.
Arif though had the 14, so he loses. He does not win this one. Braun and I split the point. We were 2 off on either side. Do you remember who had the 8?
Who had 10? Who had 6? Is that what that?
No. I mean, what were the 8 lost fumbles? Can you guess?
Lord.
Well, technically, Darnold had a couple that were on the
Yeah,
ball
the Ty Chandler in
yeah.
Yeah,
in
there's the Ty
London.
Chandler
disaster
toss. There's the
thing
Aaron
in
Jones
London.
toss. Then
Yep,
there's
Aaron
Couple of
I think
Aaron
2
Jones
more
ones.
for Aaron Jones as well.
Jacksonville. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. One at the 1 yard line, I want to say in Green Bay? No.
San Francisco.
San Francisco.
And Chicago. Two of them
And
at the 1 yard
Yeah,
line.
Two of them at the 1. Yeah.
Yep. So Darnold 4,
Yeah.
Jones 3, Akers 1.
Okay.
But it
was the
really
breakdown.
should be. We should be
Yeah.
subtracting 2 from Darnold.
And a
Okay.
couple of
Wait,
those
did CJ
were,
Ham not fumble one right away in week 1?
Was it a lost fumble?
Kickoff?
Pretty sure. No, like the first third down of the season
Oh, yeah,
was
yeah.
a CJ Ham fumble,
Giants.
and
Yeah,
that gave
Giants game, that's
the
right.
Giants a 3-0 lead, and that was
Yeah.
the only time they trailed for like the next
Yeah.
6 weeks.
Yeah, and James
you're
was
right.
very upset about this. I remember.
Okay, so this one's now under appeal. It's not going to change the final standings, but that could be a Braun full point on that one.
Creeping back in.
I got
Creeping
bad
back in.
bad info. The running backs really were the ones that let him down. I don't think pass catchers had any lost fumbles. Line combinations. I claimed this one with 3 exactly on the nose. Only 3 line combinations for the
Only
year.
3.
Pretty good.
They made 2 changes. That's it.
Yeah.
The nice part about this is that I intentionally boxed myself in between Braun at 2 and Arif at 4, and I still got it.
Nailed it. Wow.
That's crazy.
Got him.
I think I might even have the audio. I'm gonna go 3. I think one performance based, and then a couple
Way to
minor
screw yourself,
injuries. Huh?
Way to screw yourself.
You just
man.
said it's not right. The price is right.
Yeah.
I am a man who's authentic to what he wrote down before the show because, again, I prep.
That is phenomenal.
And you nailed
And-
one injury, one
Yeah.
performance. Like, yeah.
You did get that. But also, Sam, think about this. Where did your prep get you? Here, in last place.
Way in last, yes. CJ Ham touches. We had
Oh, wow.
The correct
This
answer
was
was
low.
7. Yeah, correct.
I was
answer
going to guess
7.
5. Okay, yeah, sure.
A career low, by the way.
Yeah, low.
And we had a 6, we had a 13, we had a 14. Point goes to Luke Braun.
Not me. Yeah, Luke Braun. Okay.
Luke Braun.
I
Creeping.
think I was high on
Just
that,
creeping back
yeah. Just
in.
creeping back in.
How many categories do I have left?
This is it. This is the final one right here. Final
final
record.
So it's clinched.
Final
Yeah, I will.
record. Who among us do you think was the most optimistic?
You.
Wait, like in
Sam.
terms of wins?
I'm going to say
Right?
Arif.
Yeah.
I'm
Because
gonna say
obviously
Arif.
the most optimistic one.
I'm going to say Arif.
Yeah, I'll go me. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Arif.
I
Wow.
do not brand myself as a particularly optimistic analyst.
8-1. The winning record prediction.
Wow.
8-1. That's on
I'm pretty
brand.
sure I said
No,
6
that's
and
on
11.
brand.
You said 6-10-1. You said there were
Oh,
tie-
right, because there
tie
had to be a
vibes.
tie.
Tie
Yep.
vibes. I had
I stand by that.
6-11.
I went for 500.
That is fantastic.
500 after Kirk Cousins left, very admirable thing to do, but the 500 energy went directly into Atlanta.
It did. Yeah, it did.
Final standings. Arif,
Wait, do you have
11.
audio? Do you have audio for the final record?
Yeah, it's a little long, but yeah, let's
Oh.
listen to it. I am on the clock here. I think 6-11. I'm sorry. I don't think the playoffs are in the cards this year. I'm not even sure in the mix, like in the hunt. I'm not even sure they're in the hunt graphic by season's end.
Oh yeah, you hate Sam Darnold. I totally forgot about that. I was like, that's kind
I
of
do. I did. I did.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 8-1 because it's funny.
There we
Would have been a
Yeah.
good.
Very
On
funny in the
brand.
first post Kirk year to go 8-1.
Yeah.
Oh, we got rid of the 500 quarterback, guys. Surely. It's a down year. I've been down on him on my show, on other shows. Oh, no.
Mm.
I've been telling people, look, this is not. This. I mean, anything can happen, but this is the kind of year where your best hope is saying anything can happen.
I mean, that part was right.
Is also
They're doing the
tons of
Garnett
tie
shoot,
vibes.
man.
Tons of tie vibes in this year.
Yeah.
Just really feels like the kind of year where they'll have enough bozo to get a dumb tie game. So 6-10-1.
They tried real hard for that, Tyler.
I am so glad
so hard.
I was sick that day because my takes would have not been any better. I guarantee you that. That's for sure. Maybe 7
I
and
didn't
10.
even have a reason. I was just like, that would be really funny. Nailed it.
That's fun. That's fun.
Congrats, Arif. Do we have time for a quick parlay? I think we got to do a quick parlay for the contest. Got to be on the Vikings game. Any amount of legs. No limit on
just
odds.
the Vikings game?
Just the Vikes game. $100 parlay. And the loser fronts our Super Bowl bet, where I think we pick a number, how much we want to win as a group, and we say we want to win $100,000, and we just build the parlay around that, or 50,000, whatever. But we got to build it up to that, and the loser fronts the bet.
So the rules for this parlay that we're building right now is that we're betting $100, and the payout if we win has to be at least 1,000. Right? No.
No. Where did you get that?
I don't know.
I said there's no rules. I said there's no limits on legs, no limits on odds.
But it has to be a parlay.
I already built a stupid parlay to meet that rule requirement that was in my brain. So
go with it. It has to work on FanDuel. FanDuel has to accept the parlay. So I think let's go reverse order of the regular season standings. That would give Braun the first crack.
Oh, I'm not ready because I didn't realize we were doing just this game, and I made one with everybody.
Okay, clock ran out on Braun. Arif,
I'm getting jumped.
Arif next.
All right. My parlay, 5 legs. Puka Nacua over 88.5. Correlate that with the Matthew Stafford over 235.5. I'll go a little bit slower so Sam can write this down.
Thank you.
All right, you good, Sam?
Yep.
All right. And because there's going to be a decent amount of passing in the game, TJ Hawkinson over 41.5. It's been a while since I've touched a TJ Hawkinson over. I feel like we are due.
Baby.
Aaron Jones over 59.5 rushing yards because the Vikings are going to win this game. And then because I wanted to get over 1,000 because that didn't hit 1,000. I was trying to look for an easy anytime touchdown, Kyren Williams. So that's the 5-leg parlay. Anytime touchdown score, Kyren Williams. Oh man. So I built it this morning and it was like over 1,500. It has since dropped. Plus 1,463.
1,463. That leads to me. I'm focused on.
I am ready now. Can I jump to the podium, or
no? You can.
Now?
You are within your rights to do that. Yep.
The draft order. Right. Yeah, that's how that works. Drafting Kevin.
Pretty similar stuff. I ended up doing as Arif. But I'm taking more conservative lines mostly. I'm going to take a Puka Nacua 70 plus receiving yards, TJ Hawkinson 40 plus receiving yards, and Kyren Williams as an anytime touchdown scorer, which FanDuel gives to me at plus 310.
I should have thought of the alt lines. That would have helped me out a lot here.
I got more conservative alt lines.
I'm going to go with two different players that I think will perform well. I think Cooper Kupp playoffs, I think could explode. Kupp over 46.5, along with Kupp 5+ yards in the first quarter. That's like one catch. Then I'm going to focus on Jalen Naylor, my guy, who I skipped a week with Naylor. Then he goes off against Green Bay. Had a good game, though, against Detroit. They're using him. He's in the game plan, and he's also overlooked. Naylor over 18.5 yards total. And this is the tough one. Naylor 5+ yards in the first quarter. I need him to have a catch early. I think he will. That comes out to plus 912.
Okay, good luck on that. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm trying to fit in, Vikes to win by 1-6 is going to be in here.
Gotta have it.
FanDuel is giving me some issues. Some of your selections can't be combined in a single parlay. So I will goof around with this just to save any boring airtime here, and I'll text you guys here as soon as we get out of here.
Thank you. All right. Sounds good. That's Luke Inman. Luke Braun, Arif Hasan, Minnesota Football Party. We're back on Monday previewing the game, day of game, wherever the game is played. And we thank you for the comments, the subscriptions, and all of that here at Locked On Sports Minnesota. Thanks for sticking with us a little longer today. Talk to you soon here on Locked On Sports Minnesota.